Alright you guys, today we're gonna work on a low voltage problem. So it was a no heat call on a Payne unit. Customers say to put in new batteries and the system is not turning on at all. When I showed up, I turned the fan on and I didn't get anything. This is a church with multiple furnaces, so it was a challenge to figure out which one was the unit that I needed to work on. In this case, what I ended up doing is taking my voltage at the thermostat, which in this case was actually 14 volts. So I knew there was some voltage going from the thermostat to the furnace. So I went to each furnace up in the boiler room and I just took voltage to each one of them. All of them had 24 volts, so 17 volts I knew there was a problem with the voltage. I finally found the right furnace, so when I put my leads on the motherboard, I had 14 volts, so I knew that was the unit that I needed to work on. So I headed back to the unit. In here I already took everything out, so I already figured out which unit is gonna need to work on. I press the power button, and as you can see, we get error code 20. 1, 2, 3, 4. So error code 24 in this unit. This is why the unit is not working properly. As we can see, error code 24 is secondary voltage fuse open, which is a short in the secondary or the low voltage side of the unit. At this point, I'm just trying to see if I can find the fuse. It's usually right next by the terminals for the low voltage, as you can see, and it looks kind of odd. So as you can see, it doesn't looks like it's sitting properly, and you can tell right away that it's blown. As a good technician, you always want to check things. So I'm just gonna check voltage. So R in common, and I should get 24 volts, which in this case, like say earlier, I only got 14. So let's kill the power, always be safe, and let's pull this fuse out. As you can see, it's blown, but let's double check it. Just use your meter, and I tested it and it was open, so I know this is a bad fuse. Also, this fuse is the wrong size. It should be a 3 amp fuse, but somebody put a 5 amp fuse. You guys should never do that. Should always use the right proper size fuse. You can always downsize the fuse, but never upsize the fuse, and that's especially more crucial in high voltage applications. Next, what you guys should do, or what I did, I just look around, look at all the different cables, see if I see any dark, any shortage. All the cables seem nice and tight, and I don't see anything rubbing against metal. So I do apologize for the video. The camera didn't adjust the focus, but check all your 24 wiring, which are your safeties. In this case, this high limit switch look kind of odd, being wrapped around like that. Normally you have one with the plastic, one without the plastic. So I'll just pull it out just to verify if there's anything going on. It looks like it might have been touching that box, but and there's some rust in there, so that seems kind of suspicious. We'll come back to check this switch later on the video. So far I just keep looking around all your different switches, make sure everything's looking good. In this case, this tubing, it seems like it was getting kinked, so I'm just gonna reroute it, and we'll come back and fix that too. So for now, I'm just gonna put it back on so we can test the unit. Like I said, just verify if all your switches, make sure nothing's touching, make sure the connections are nice and tight. So raw light switch looks good, other high limit looks good, burners looks okay, there's the other rollout. So everything seems to be working or connected properly. Next, we're gonna put a new fuse into the unit, and I highly recommend you guys buying a reservable fuse. They come in 3 and 5 amps. Probably get a 3 amp one, and so this will save you from having to replace fuses every time you're working on low voltage and the fuse keeps popping off. You will go through fuses real fast, and then you might even run out of fuse, and then now you have to run to the shop or someplace to buy more fuses. So this will save you from a lot of headaches, so recommend buying one of these little guys. They're really easy to use. As you see, there's two cables that come with it. Basically, you put each end at each side of the fuse on the board. So they're very simple. Just plug it in. Now, if there's still a short, as soon as you apply power, it will reset, so you'll hear that pop. So let's give it power, and everything's looking good. There's no shorts, and our light's red, so that's looking good. Next, we're gonna go ahead and call for heat. I use my door switch holder to keep power on. As you can see, it blowers on carriers, the N9, Payne, Bryans. If there's no power and you restore power and there's a call for heat, the blower will turn on and blow for about 30 seconds. So while I wait, I'm just gonna check all these other connections. And here's the next issue. That inducer, it's really bad. Those bearings are actually starting to go out. So it shouldn't sound like that. So we'll come back and tell the customer that that motor's starting to go out or the bearings are not good anymore. So we're just gonna ignore it for now. I know it's really loud. So we're just gonna wait for the igniter to get hot and see if we got good ignition. There we go. Ignition is good. Now I'm just gonna let it run, do a cycle, wait for the blower to turn on. In the meantime, I always check those filters. This filter, it's a 2-inch filter, and you can tell it needs to be replaced. So I'm gonna let the customer know that he needs a new filter as well. And as you can see, it's compacted. So now that everything seems to be working fine, we're gonna go ahead and put an actual fuse. So we take out our reserve one and put in a real fuse. At this point, I put it in, and it felt very loose on the right side. So that could have been why the other fuse short out. So sometimes what you have to do is just grab your needle nose pliers and just squeeze it a little bit, just enough to have a good grip on the fuse. So I used my broken fuse just to see how that one fit, and I put it in and still felt a little bit loose. So I took it out and I go ahead and tighten it up a little bit more. You just have to be careful, don't break them. And then I try my fuse again. This time it seems a lot better. It wasn't as loose as the first time I put it in. Put power back on, and then come back to that inducer tubing. It was too long, so those are simple. Just grab anything that can cut the tubing. In this case, I used my needle nose since I already had them out. Cut them to size, and then put it back into the switch. As you can hear, that inducer motor is still really loud, so it's one of those I have to order the wheel. I do have the motor, but I have to order the wheel. The wheel that we carry are usually too big for these furnaces. Plus, it's on a Friday and everybody's out of the office, so I will have to wait for approval in order for me to order this motor. Now, this limit switch, if you guys are good, you will notice that that switch is facing the wrong way. So probably whoever replaced the fuse, they were getting short or something, and that was the repair. Flip that over. So that switch should be facing the other way. Very important, never bypass switches or install in the improper way, because that can cause problems in the future. I didn't get footage, but I did fix the switch, so now it should be facing how it's facing in this picture. Then I ran the unit again just to make sure there's no further issues with that high limit being installed how it should be. uh, Ran the unit for about 12 minutes. Unit ran okay, besides the inducer motor, but everything else ran okay. It didn't shut down on limit or anything like that. So this is it for today. I hope you guys learned something and stay safe. And I'm gonna keep working on more videos as the weeks come. I'm on call this week, so it's gonna take me a while to get the other videos up. I have 2 more videos I'm gonna work on, so stay tuned and subscribe, you guys.
He never has to use them calibrated hands. Dispatch sends him on a no heat call. He got to diagnose before he gets to the dome, cause he's a super tech. Yeah, super tech. Yeah, he's a super tech. Gets his job